It's a great time to be a trader. We've seen so many crazy moves over the past couple of weeks, and this volatility isn't slowing down anytime soon. To put things into perspective, if I told you about a stock that lost 50% of its value and then proceeded to increase by 125%, all in the same day, you might think of some crap penny stock or some NFT or something like that. But no, today we saw ticker symbol NYCB do exactly this. And this is a bank with over $100 billion in assets. That's crazy, and it's something you don't see every day, right, to say the least. On top of that, we have Powell speaking again tomorrow, and the market is currently on one of its longest streaks in over 25 years with how little the market has been falling. So in today's video, we're going to talk about everything you need to know for the market tomorrow. We have some great setups and predictions for tomorrow as well, and we have a lot to cover. So stick with us all the way into the end, and Tom, let's jump right into it.
Yeah, today was a pretty crazy day overall. The stock market did pretty good intraday. We saw a pretty good move. I would say about an hour into the market opening, we started to see the SPY run up to around 512. Now, it's not like we're exploding up to new highs or anything like that, but it was good to see it getting pretty close again up to there. And then we started consolidating around support around 508.50. But while Powell was speaking today, Mike, there was one stock that kind of went berserk, and that was NYCB, which you already said, New York Bancorp. This is a pretty insane move here. So this stock started falling down a ton intraday. Now, the problem with this stock today is that there were a ton of halts on this. On the way down, it halted a few times, and a bunch of people started shorting this, right? They saw big drops to the downside. They were like, hey, this stock's starting to fall. This bank's starting to crumble a little bit. I'm going to try to short this rundown. With all the halts, a lot of people ended up getting stuck, and then it unhalted and opened up to $4.18 there. So, Mike, this was a crazy one today. It's blowing my mind.
Yeah, it looks like one of those crazy cryptos, right? With all of this crazy volatility. But essentially what happened is it is a bank stock, and they announced they're raising about $1 billion. And this company has been struggling quite a bit over the past year or so, especially. And it's just kind of a disaster, right? So this stock is super volatile in the short term. Keep a close eye on it because there's a lot of money flowing into it. But at the same time, it's just so crazy where it's like, if you trade it, you have to make sure you can handle the heat before you get stopped out.
Yeah, if you can't handle the heat on this one, you better get out of the kitchen because with the way it went today, I know a lot of people ended up getting pretty screwed over down there at the bottom. So for me, it's honestly like a no play until we start to see the volatility settle down a little bit. But hey, for now, it's going to have some pretty crazy moves. And, I think of this, Mike, and I'm like, oh man, which bank stock is next, right? It seems like every few weeks this is happening lately.
Oh boy. All right, another thing we have to talk about is what is going on with Jerome Powell. So he testified today in front of the House, and the market didn't go too crazy off of this. And basically Powell said, to everyone, you have to be realistic. We're not going to start cutting rates yet. We need to be more confident that inflation is actually under control, because the last thing we want to do is cut rates and then inflation comes rocketing back up and then we're in a giant problem, right? So he's like, we don't want to do that. So we're just going to wait until we're more confident that inflation's under control, and then we will consider cutting rates. And that was everything summarized, and the market was pretty calm about it. But he also testifies again tomorrow, but to the Senate.
Yeah, exactly. And I will say this, the market actually went green after he was speaking and during the time he was speaking, but then started pulling back end of day. So I'm not going to necessarily attribute that huge uptrend to anything Powell said, because he didn't really wow anybody or necessarily change anybody's opinions, at least not mine anyways. And I don't think the markets either. But Mike, I know that we've looked at the Fed Watch tool a lot. Looks like they're still pricing in a pause for May, and then those cuts are starting in June. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now, just as a quick update on that.
Perfect. Thank you for that. And then as we talked about a little bit yesterday, Tom, the market just has not been falling lately, in every measurable sense. So I came across another interesting chart today that shows that on average, going all the way back to like 1928, there are normally 29 days throughout the year where the market falls by 1% or more, right? So far for 2024, the market has only had 3 of these days. So a rational person would expect more of these days to come. And I certainly would not be surprised to see that for multiple reasons. One, it's an election year. 2, the market's volatility is literally heating up. And just another reason is how crazy the chip stocks have been, in both directions. So either way, you have to be prepared for, more volatility. And the reason I bring this up is because I want to make sure everyone adapts when the market starts to move in a different direction. For example, the market has been going up nonstop since November of 2023, right? And a lot of people have made a lot of money from that, and that's awesome. But the last thing I want to see is everyone to get, so stuck in the bull case, and then when a normal and healthy pullback eventually comes around, I don't want them to be like, how is this possible? So here's the warning now. While the market is still right at all-time highs, just be willing to adapt when the tide does turn.
Yeah, exactly. Because right now it's like every single day, it's like, oh my gosh, if there's a dip, I'm buying up the dip. We're going to be buying up the dip every single day. And I see people doing it nonstop. And hey, it's awesome in the short term. I'm even a dip buyer in the short term, right? There's a lot of opportunities there intraday. We saw it today with the QQQ. SPY dipped early on, ended up running back up again. It's been very easy to trade over the past few months, right? I have a feeling that we're going to be getting into that time of more volatility, which can make for better trades. But then again, it's going to be hard for the people that can't adjust. So just be ready for that, guys. I think that will be coming here. And Mike, we keep talking about these streaks. We also have the 260 trading day streak without a 2% pullback as well, still on the line, still going strong. So who knows when that'll end up breaking. But hey, hopefully we don't, go on another. Well, actually, I hope we do go on a run like we did heading into 2008. But then again, we kind of saw how that happened as well when the market got a little bit, we'll say, too overextended.
True that. So we'll see when this streak ends, but the market's recent run has been historic in multiple different ways. And, what's exciting is that, the market is actually moving, right? It's like when you have periods where the market does nothing at all, those periods just suck because there's no good movement. But it's like whether you're seeing the market move a lot to the upside or the downside, that's all you can ask for. And that's where so much of the opportunity is as a trader, because when you see it actually moving, there's opportunity, right, in those big moves. So, exciting times are ahead, and I think there's going to be a whole bunch of opportunity in the short term and throughout the rest of the year, to be honest. But good stuff there. Tom, while we have Powell tomorrow, what else do we have on the schedule for the rest of the week?
Yeah, so on Friday, we do actually have the non-farm payrolls and the unemployment rate, but obviously tomorrow, the big thing is Powell's testimony at 10 a.m., so check that out at StockedUp Live on YouTube. We went live today. There was a lot of people there, so tune into that tomorrow. But Mike, other than that, we still have some big earnings on the radar. Tomorrow night, we're going to be seeing Broadcom, Costco, MRVL, and DocuSign report. That's going to be pretty big. MRVL and Broadcom are kind of in that chip/AI sector, so keep those on watch.
Good stuff. Yeah, I'll definitely have a pretty close eye on Broadcom or AVGO. This stock is up so much in the short term, like basically every other chip stock. And if the earnings are good, it can just light this AI fire. It could ignite it even more. But at the same time, if the earnings come in bad, then it could definitely change things. But either way, it will be a pretty important report. And the stock has just been booming lately. So we will see there. But Tom, let's get into the fun stuff for today, which are some setups for tomorrow. A stock I'm watching pretty closely today is not GLD, but it's SLV instead. So I've been talking about GLD so much lately. That follows gold. Now I'm looking at silver. They basically moved the same, so keep that in mind. But basically, SLV had a pretty solid day today. Gold prices have been just booming lately, which is really good to see. Silver was up 2% on the day. And when gold and silver move, they are not like a crazy AI stock that fluctuates by 20% in a day. They more so have bigger moves over the course of multiple days and even multiple weeks. So they're uptrending pretty nicely right now, and I wouldn't be surprised to see this continue over the coming days and weeks.
Yeah, and gold is like making new all-time highs right now, so hopefully they keep continuing up in the short term. I know silver is starting to get some good momentum behind it as well. And with my first play, I'm going with Boeing. I've been mentioning this stock for the past few weeks off this $200 support. It just keeps holding it, keeps bouncing off of it, and let's kind of investigate why that is. We can go over to the book map and see that a ton of buyers keep coming in at this $200 level. Even whenever there's a lot of volume and a lot of these buyers get wiped out, they end up coming right back in to hold this area up. So $200 is definitely going to be on watch for me with Boeing over the next few days. There's been a lot of great opportunities for bounce plays off of this to the upside for scalps. At the same time, though, if we do start to break below it, we got to watch for puts. But either way, this is a major, major level, and you can see it right here on the chart where these big buyers keep stacking up down there, and you can kind of see why they're pushing the stock up, right? You can see right here, they got wiped out, but then that volume kept coming in, then they re-entered those positions, bam, they're sitting there, they're waiting. If it hits 200 again, it'll probably have a decent bounce until it starts to really break and give out all that volume.
No doubt. I mean, there were just multiple waves of buyers defending that $200 support. So very good stuff there, Tom, and I like it. Another stock I'm watching pretty closely right now is UVXY. Tom, you probably could have guessed I was going to cover this one because the market was up today by about 0.5%, but what was also up was the VIX, the volatility index. And basically, this is pretty rare. Whenever you see the market up and the volatility index up, you better pay attention because that basically means that market makers are expecting more volatility in the future, and it's pretty rare to see them do that when the market is going up. They almost always do this when everyone's panicking and when the market's falling. So this is like a decent warning sign. I'm looking at UVXY because that follows volatility, at least in the very short term. It is a leverage ETF, so you do not want to hold this one over long periods of time. But anyways, I'm watching UVXY to the upside. If we see more panic come into play and just more volatility and fear creep into the market, then UVXY can do very well to the upside. But realistically, I would like to see this one get back to that $7 and 40-cent area with just good, powerful, bullish momentum.
Yeah, that would be awesome tomorrow, and I think that we could definitely see it. And you saw a couple days ago how much UVXY started to really run whenever the market started dropping. So, let's say support gives out on SPY. That'll be an amazing opportunity tomorrow. I'll definitely keep it on the radar. With my next play, I'm looking at Palantir to the upside. This stock was on fire today, up 9.87%. They actually won a Titan contract with the Army. The Titan system is pretty elaborate, so if you guys want to go read about it, go ahead. I don't want to spend the whole episode talking about that, but I'll be watching for a continuation on Palantir above $26.75, right around that high of day. If we continue to see a good breakout and push at the high of day tomorrow, then I will look for that potential momentum play. So let's go, Mike. This stock's blasting off. I know a lot of people are holding this one for the long term, too.
Me included. There we go. But yeah, I love to see it. Palantir had a pretty solid day as it popped up by 10%. So good stuff there. And let's get right into the momentum plays for tomorrow. With the first one, we have currently the heaviest weighted stock in the market, and that is Microsoft to the downside.
Yeah, poor Microsoft was actually fairly red today, closed down negative 0.14%, but that move it open was pretty nasty. So I'm really watching this support where it bottomed end of day today. If they can get back under $400 with some good volatility, then I'll look at more puts.
All right, with the next one, we have Moderna to the upside.
mRNA, what a volatile stock, right? It's actually starting to break out a little bit. If it can start to break $99, then I'll watch for that push up and above 100.
All right, and then with the last one, we have TLT for both directions again.
Yeah, TLT was actually pretty good today, above the high of yesterday. Very good potential trades there. Looking at the high of day today, it's around 96.15. So if we can break that tomorrow, go ahead and look at a continuation up. If we see a move under 95.85 where it bounced a ton end of day, then look at puts.
All right, so we have the downside level for puts, and we have the upside level for calls for TLT. Don't forget about the upside level for mRNA as well, and then the downside level for MSFT. These three stocks are on watch for potential day trades tomorrow, only if they break the levels Tom listed. If they do not break those levels, then do not force these setups, right? We want to see a break through the level with momentum and then a continuation in that direction. So keep a close eye on these ones going forward, but we can't move on any further until we cover today's $929,000 big money trade of the day. And we are looking at a chip stock, Tom, TSM. So TSM, like all chip stocks, has been blasting to the upside over the past couple months. TSM is now at a pretty significant resistance level. Tom, you're going to have to check this one out on like a max weekly, as basically there's been a lot of resistance between like $140 and $145 a share going all the way back to February of 2021. So this is a giant resistance level. The big money put $929,000 into the TSM 145 strike put options that expire on April 19th of 2024. Looking at TSM, there's a lot of overhead resistance overhead. Basically, the stock has been running up quite a bit over the past couple of weeks. It has a lot of momentum. At the same time, it is overextended. I like this setup, but you just have to be careful, because if this AI slash semiconductor slash chip boom continues, you'll probably want to get rid of it, because the expiration is only out to like the middle to end of April. So I like the risk reward, but you just have to make sure that the chip frenzy doesn't run you over.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the risk reward's great. It's just at the same time, it's a little bit risky just because of how hot everything is. But I actually really like that resistance on the weekly, Mike. Like, going back and seeing that, going back to like 2020, 2021 is actually pretty awesome to see there. So if it does keep rejecting off of this, I think there will be some great opportunities. And in the short term, I'm going to keep watching tomorrow. Like, if we break 144, then I'm not going to enter this tomorrow. I will actually wait for a re-break back below 144 at that point. So that's kind of how I'm going to look at Taiwan Semiconductors. But at the end of the day, it's a pretty good big money play, and I love that risk reward here.
Exactly. So like the risk reward is, really good right now. If you wanted to make the play, I don't want to say safer, but if you want a higher probability of actually seeing a breakdown, you can wait until it rejects off resistance and then until it actually starts falling. So it's like, if we see this thing get back below under 140 and then maybe it starts heading down to like 138 or so, that could be like a better indication that the uptrend is actually weakening and getting closer to an end.
Yeah, I agree. That's actually a pretty good strategy there. I like that 140 level in the short term, too. There's been a little bit of volatility there. And, as this stock goes, it is just so overextended, But at the same time, we keep seeing these stocks like NVIDIA, AMD, and others continue to go. So always be careful. Keep that risk tight. And obviously, do not go all into any plays, guys. Keep that risk managed correctly.
Tom, don't go all into any play at all? Come on.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, I'm sure some people did this with NYCB today.
Oh, boy. Yeah, so keep that risk managed, guys. We've seen a lot of crazy moves in the short term, and you want to make sure that, you can live another day to see all of the other crazy moves we will see over the next couple of days and weeks. It's going to be a very exciting year, and it has already been action-packed. So make sure to keep that risk protected, and if you're into short-term trading, you have to check out the StockedUp trading floor. It's the place to be. We have an army of trading bots. You can chat with Tom and myself all day long. You get access to the multi-million-dollar big money trades on the same day they are alerted. A lot of times this makes for better entry prices. You get access to our live events and so much more. If I explained everything, this video would be at least 2 hours long, but it's the place to be. Come join us. And then I also want to give a giant shout out to today's member of the day, Tavo VDN in the StockedUp Discord. He said, it's not much, but it's my first call option from the group, and it looks like he did pretty well with some target call options. So keep up the great work, and hopefully we see more screenshots like this from you. But Tom, I think we're set for a pretty exciting end to the week.
Yeah, we really are. And just don't forget about Powell tomorrow, guys. He will be testifying again at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Check it out. It's Stocked Up Live on YouTube. I'll have him live with the stock market side by side. And of course, there's always some funny stuff mixed in there too.
That is true. A couple of the questions today had me laughing pretty good. So like this, these Powell testimonies are like pretty serious, but at the same time, you could get some pretty good unexpected laughs from them. So awesome stuff there. If you guys are new to the channel, consider absolutely crushing that subscribe button. If you do, you'll see our videos more often. We post all the time. We go over charts you wouldn't otherwise see anywhere else. We cover everything you need to know about the market in like 20 to 25 minutes or less. And we cover predictions and big money trades in every single video. So consider joining the Stocked Up crew. And besides that, everyone, let's have an amazing rest of the week.